Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen, and if you are new to See Mindy Mom, I'm very glad that you found me. Today I'm going to share with you 3 different chicken and rice recipes, so stay tuned. I feel like chicken and rice is one of those quintessential, stereotypical recipes for families. I feel like everybody has a chicken and rice recipe in their arsenal. My mom used to make chicken and rice whenever we were growing up fairly frequently, and her recipe was some cooked, shredded chicken breast, sometimes just from a rotisserie chicken, 2 boxes of wild rice cooked, and then a cup of sour cream and a can of cream of chicken with a little bit of milk, and mix it all together and then pop it in the oven to reheat. And it was actually one of my favorite meals and still something that I crave from time to time as a comfort food. For this video, I thought I would try some different chicken and rice recipes, maybe some that aren't sort of your standard chicken and rice dish. I even have one that is a little bit more friendly to like a low carb or keto lifestyle that uses cauliflower rice. So hopefully there is something here for everybody. Let's dive in. Tonight I am making chicken with a Parmesan garlic rice, and I will leave the recipe that inspired me linked in the description box below, but I am taking quite a few liberties here. I'm actually changing it up quite a bit. So let me show you what I'm using to make that, and then I'll show you how I'm making it. These are the ingredients I am using tonight. I have half a pound of chicken. This chicken is already diced up, so I won't have to cut it up. I have half an onion chopped, 3 medium-sized carrots peeled and chopped, 2 stalks of celery chopped, 1 stick of butter, and this is actually a plant-based butter that I am trying out tonight. Half a cup of white wine. I will season this with salt, pepper to taste, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and just a smidge of crushed red pepper flake. And I'm gonna need a little bit of olive oil as well. You will see why here in a second. And I'm taking a little bit of a different tack tonight. I'm actually going to make all of this stuff together kind of like a sauce, if you will. And I'm making the rice separately. It's already cooking on the stove. And so we'll serve what this turns into over the top of the rice. I almost forgot the garlic, you guys. Of course, we're gonna use fresh garlic in a garlic Parmesan chicken and rice. So I have 3 fairly decent sized cloves here that I will peel, and I will use my garlic press with those. I have my chicken pieces browning in a little bit of olive oil here. I used about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and they are just browning over medium-low heat. I season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't need to cook them all the way through because they're going to get a little more time to cook with some of the other ingredients in the sauce that you're going to see me make up here in a minute. But I just want to give them a good head start. So I will let these brown for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to remove them to a bowl, set that aside while we work on the rest of the dish. So I've got my butter in here now, and I'm going to go ahead and add my mirepoix to the pot and let that saute together for a few minutes. My mirepoix has actually been sauteing for probably about 6 or 7 minutes now. I want to get those vegetables nice and tender. So now I'm going to press my garlic in here. I don't want to put that in at the very beginning because garlic cooks just a little bit faster, but I'm going to add that now. Boop-de-doo. One more. I'm also going to add my garlic powder, 1 teaspoon, a little salt, a little pepper, and just a sprinkling of crushed red pepper as well. I want to stir that for just a minute or so until the garlic starts to get really fragrant. Now I'm adding half a cup of white wine. And I'm also going to put my chicken back in now so it can finish cooking. I am going to cover that and let it simmer for probably about 5 to 7 minutes. I want the chicken to finish cooking, for the alcohol to burn off in the wine, and also for the veggies to finish kind of getting nice and tender there. Okay, my chicken is done. This simmered for about 7 or 8 minutes or so, and I'm changing my mind about how I'm gonna serve this. I'm going to go ahead and stir in my cooked rice. This was 1.5 cups of rice dry. It's probably about 4 cups of cooked rice. So I'm just gonna stir that all together to combine. I might season it with just a little bit more salt and pepper, and then we'll put the finishing touches on it. And there it is. I just finished it off with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. This is just from a Parm wedge there that I grated just now. Sprinkled the Parmesan on top, and we're just having this with some regular canned green beans and some garlic toast. Yummy. Okay, I have to say I was a little bit worried about this one because it seems super simple, but it is so good. It's really tasty. I know that it seems really simple with just the mirepoix and the wine and the butter and the seasonings, and then finishing it off with just a little bit of fresh parm, but it's really delicious. I really like this. Tonight I am making a buffalo ranch chicken and rice. At least that's what I'm hoping it turns into. I'm not normally a huge buffalo flavor fan, but I thought this sounded really good, so let's see what we can come up with. Here's what I have landed on as far as ingredients to create this dish. I have a pound of chicken breast diced, about half of an onion chopped, 2 to 3 celery stalks chopped, 2 tablespoons of butter. I have some Frank's Red Hot sauce in the buffalo flavor. I'm going to use half a cup of this. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of my homemade ranch seasoning. You could use homemade ranch if you make it from scratch, or you could use just a packet of ranch seasoning. Salt and pepper to taste. 1.5 cups of rice, 2.5 cups of water, 1 cup of cheddar cheese shredded, and then some blue cheese and some onions are optional. You'll see how I am using those at the end. Let's get started. I melted my butter in my pot, and I have my onions and my celery sauteing here for a few minutes. I gave the onions a head start of about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I dropped the celery in. I'm going to let those saute for about 1 to 2 more minutes. Okay, my onions and my celery have browned. They've sauteed for a couple minutes. Now I'm going to add my chicken pieces, and I'm going to let them brown on both sides before we add anything else. So I'll just drop those in. Give it a little stir. I might have to add a tablespoon or so of olive oil, or maybe a little bit more butter. We'll just see. If it seems like your pan is really, really dry, you might have to add a little bit more oil when you add your chicken. I wasn't sure how much to put in there. Maybe just a smidge to be on the safe side there. Okay, my chicken has browned sufficiently. I'm not worried about it cooking all the way through because we're going to add the rest of the ingredients and bring the whole pot up to a boil, so it will finish cooking then. So I'm going to go ahead and season this with 2 tablespoons of my homemade ranch. As I said, you could use just a packet of ranch mix if you want. A little salt and pepper. Going to add my rice, my hot sauce, and 2.5 cups of water. I'm going to give that a stir and then deposit this spoon in the sink because I'll use a different one once this is all done cooking. I'm going to bring that up to a simmer and then cover it and let it cook for about 10 to 12 minutes on a low simmer, and then I'm going to turn the heat completely off and let it sit covered for another 10 minutes so the rice finishes cooking. All right, this is done. I let it simmer for about 12 minutes, and then I left the lid on, but I turned the heat to the stove off, and now the chicken is done cooking, the rice is done cooking, and I am going to add 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I'm just gonna stir that in, and then it will be ready to plate up, and I've got just a few little extras to put on top here as well. This smells amazing. This smells so good. Okay, I am just going to finish this off with a little bit of chopped green onion and some crumbled blue cheese. People either love this or hate this, which is why I leave it to the end because it's optional. No, this is not moldy cheese. It is blue cheese. My husband and I really like it. The kids really don't care for it, so we probably leave it off of their bowls, but there you have it. Cheesy ranch buffalo chicken and rice casserole. What kinds of rice do you guys like to cook with? These are, I think, all of the rices that I currently have in my pantry, but who knows, maybe there are a few hiding behind something. But this is just a plain old long grain rice. I have a bag from Aldi and a bag from Walmart. I've noticed that the prices have not gone up at those stores for me. I have this organic sprouted brown rice. This is also a brown rice. It's a quick cooking brown rice that I believe I got at Aldi. Basmati rice is my favorite, especially whenever I'm going to eat rice as rice, if that makes sense. Like if I'm not going to put it in a soup or a casserole, I really like this as the base for like a burrito bowl. Love it. This is something that I stuck in my emergency meals bin because you can heat it up and it's ready to eat in like 90 seconds, but it's rice and beans. I also will commonly have arborio rice, which is what you use to make risotto. And I often use cauliflower rice in some recipes. You're seeing that in this video as well. I'm just curious, what kinds of rice do you guys like to cook with? Does it depend on the recipe? I'm just wondering. Tonight I am making a chicken and rice that I think is going to be pretty friendly to my friends out there who are trying to do lower carb / keto. We're going to use cauliflower rice in place of regular rice, but I will tell you how you can use regular rice as well if you don't really care about making it be lower carb. And we're going to do this in the crock pot because you guys didn't think you were going to get through a whole video with me and like not have a crock pot recipe, did you? This is what is going into my crock pot right now, and then these items are going to go in later. But for now, I'm going to put a pound of chicken breast. You could do more if you want. I'm just doing a pound of chicken breast, 1 very small jalapeno, which I diced up, 3 cloves of garlic, which I will press, 1 cup of salsa verde. I'm just going to use this can that I found in the Hispanic food section in my grocery store because it's just the right size. But you can buy a different kind of salsa verde if you want. There are lots of different brands in the grocery store that I saw. You just need 1 cup plus 1 cup of water, 1 4-ounce can of diced green chilies, 1 teaspoon each onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, and oregano, salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to put all of that into the crock pot and then top it with this half brick 4 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm going to let that cook on high for 3 to 4 hours, or you can cook it on low for 6 to 7 hours until the chicken is done. And then we're going to finish it out with the cauliflower rice and some half and half and some cheddar cheese. I'm actually going to use 2 of these small bags of riced cauliflower, so you'll see how I'm doing that when we get there. Let's get this going in the crock pot first though. My chicken is done. It was done a little while ago and I just shred it up with 2 forks right there in the crock pot, and I just stirred everything together to incorporate the cream cheese. And now I am adding 2 small bags, little 10-ounce bags of riced cauliflower, and I did pop this in the microwave for just about 2 minutes just so that it wouldn't be ice cold frozen whenever I add it here. And I'm also going to pour in just about half a cup or so of half and half. Stir that around. I'm gonna pop the lid back on here and let it cook on high for another 15 to 20 minutes until that cauliflower rice is cooked and heated through. This has been back on high for about 30 minutes and it is almost ready. The only thing left to do is that I am going to stir in 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, just like so. And then it will be ready to eat. Yummy. Okay, I have to say I was a little worried about this one because, you know, I mean, it's cauliflower rice, but the flavor of this is so good. I actually really like this. And if you wanted to use regular rice, you could. You would just want to cook it before you stir it into the crock pot. So you make this just the same, except you would stir in cooked rice and then immediately stir in the shredded cheese and it would be ready to eat immediately. Okay, you guys, that's what I have for you today. I hope that there is a recipe there that you are interested in trying, or that I gave you an idea that you can maybe make your own and put your own spin on it. If you liked this video, help me out and give it a thumbs up because that helps me appease the algorithm. And I will be sure to check in with another video very soon. Bye.